Hi, everybody. My name is Nathaly, and I'm excited to hold this call again after a while. We had it last year almost every week religiously. Every single week we were here covering different countries and working with different professionals within our network, our industry, because they were sharing also, what it is to do, what it's like to do real estate in their countries. The whole purpose of this call is for us to network, get to know each other, and then grow the group. Because the more we know about, transactions somewhere else, the more we can refer business to those locations, and the more we can avoid mistakes going into certain locations. And I want to talk about certain risks that can come with referring abroad, because I don't know if you guys do active international real estate or referrals. You have to be super mindful and careful how you send referrals, because uh, once we step out of the US and Canada, it's not a regulated market, and many of us have experienced that firsthand. And it can be dangerous for your clients, so we're here to protect clients. This call is going to be open for all professionals in real estate, and I'm going to share my screen to go over some of that. Hello, everybody that just joined. Okay, let's get started. So here, I'm going to put my screen here, and please check the chat that I sent in Zoom, because you have the introduction, what to say, introduce yourself and all the things that you can share with the group. I'm going to keep it fairly short so we can keep this call interactive. And then also feel free to leave your contact information in the chat as well in Zoom, so people can reach out to you directly. Because the whole idea of this is for you to promote yourselves, where you are, what you're selling, and educational content. But please take this one-on-one as well. The whole idea of this call is for you guys to get to know each other. So international real estate, we're a company called Unicorn Properties. We are based in Chicago legally, but operate around the world, especially my favorite country, which is Mexico. In Mexico, we cover the East Coast, the Riviera Maya, and Yucatan, which is the closest to Florida. And I'll share more about that. I have a whole presentation and videos on that, so I don't want to bore you. But that's Unicorn Properties. That's us, our group. We're within EXP. EXP is our parent company and our brokerage. And with that, we've been able to take our business international. And we encourage other agents to do the same, because we're given the resources, so might as well use it. So EXP is our mother company. What's the purpose of this call, and who is this for? So the whole purpose is networking, but also sharing knowledge as a community. We're from different countries, and we have different knowledge that we can share, because not everybody knows everything, and it's very hard to, know everything. But as we share tips, knowledge, and anecdotes, then we can, learn from each other. The whole purpose is to do community building and keep the community going month over month, year over year. And we're pretty consistent when we start the calls, and we don't stop, unless there's a holiday. So this call also, you're welcome to do announcements. If you have any announcements on real estate tours that you're doing on your own, or you're collaborating with others, or you want to join ours, please bring it to the call. Any updates on events, like if you're hosting an event in Toronto or in Chicago or in Dubai, you can let us know as well. Also, the new listings, we're going to have a section for new listings that you can share in the chat for Zoom. We're trying to avoid overcrowding the WhatsApp chat. So ideally, we share within the call, and then we take it one-on-one if we're interested to learn more with each specific person who shares. And of course, if you're within EXP, we would love to have co-sponsor opportunities, not only with us, but within yourselves. So you can help your agents that are coming up in the future join this company that we love and use the tools to grow. I want to share more how I use this platform myself, but I also want to open this call to anybody in the real estate space. So sometimes we had attorneys, accountants, tax professionals on different areas in different parts of the world. So a lot of things are involved with international purchases. We have sometimes developers showcasing their, one day for, their call on what the product is, for example. These developers, we vet them and make sure they're legit. And we ask our agents to do the same, because that's the most important thing here. Trustable inventory. Any new agent is welcome within EXP in your downlines, and any non-EXP agent is also welcome here. So they don't have to be part of EXP, but if they're considering in the future, this is a great way to help them, understand what we do, how we do it, as well as utilizing the tools with you if they don't have access to it, but also understanding, that sometimes small agencies don't have what we have in a larger company. With that, I'm gonna just open it up to introduce yourselves. I put this in the chat as well in Zoom. So if you can share your name, where you're from, the current market that you cover physically, where you're at, any country or countries that you want to learn more about or expand to so we can prepare the agenda, and your goals. What are your expectations for this call? With that, I'm going to stop sharing and then we're going to go one by one. If anybody wants to volunteer to start.
I can go.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. First of all, thanks, Nathaly, for inviting us, for including us in the group. I think this is a great opportunity to network, as you said. I'm an international real estate advisor, and I live in Toronto, Canada, even though I am originally from Peru. And I'm so excited that EXP is in Peru right now, also operating over there. I've been living in Canada for over 20 years. So my husband and I, Lucho, that he's on the call as well, we cover for sure the domestic side. So the Ontario is the province, that's where we operate. And we also have expanded for 4 or 5 years to international sites, especially we focus on vacation homes. So ideal for people that want to have a vacation home, but also have some rental income. And right now, we operate in Florida. That's our main market, Miami and Orlando. But we have also expanded to Punta Cana in Dominican Republic, in Mayan Riviera, Tulum and that area. And also we operate in Peru. So for people that want to invest or buy a property over there. And recently with you, Nathaly, in our trip to Aruba. So hopefully that's gonna become a good market for us as well. What are my goals? My goals is, of course, get to know more people that do the same thing, so we can have best practices and share good contacts. As you said, this is something that we have to be a group of experts, let's say with a tax expert, with a mortgage brokers and everybody else. So that would be great to connect with these people and also to expand. For example, this October, Lucho and I are going to Portugal and to Spain. So when we are there, why not, meeting some people and look at some properties. So the more we can expand and look at the other markets for our clients, it will be great.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And good to see you in Aruba. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. It's a great opportunity. This is something that I have been looking forward to. My name is 𝗙𝗏𝗃𝗘, located in Canada, the province of New Brunswick, which is where I practice real estate mainly. Our current market location is the Greater St. John area, which is located within the province of New Brunswick in Canada. And in general, I just want to understand more about international real estate. I have never done one before, but this is something that I'm very passionate about. I did a lot of research around the real estate market of Dubai. I check it out quite a bit. However, after listening to everyone here, I'm getting an impression it's not just about Dubai. There are also so many other markets that we can talk about. So this is very good. But in general, the expectations from this group is just getting to know each other. So we have connections, and if I have any questions, I can ask. And in general, get to know about how this business works. I have a general idea, but of course, want to get into the nitty-gritty of how the things are working and how I can pitch this to the local clientele that we have here, and how we can get to the nuts and bolts of this. That's what my expectation is. So I'm just brand new to this, so I guess I'm going to be having a lot of silly questions, and mostly I just want to listen to everyone. So yeah, that's all. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome to the group. And I know you're new to also Jazz team, right? Our group.
Yeah, I'm part of EXP, so Jess is my sponsor. Yeah, so we both are located in the same city. So yes, we work closely for sure.
Good to see you here. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I can go next, Nathaly, because 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗘 and I kind of in the same market, so it'll be easier.
Please do.
Sure. So my name is Jazz Chauhan. I am also based out of New Brunswick, along with 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗘. So I came from Royal LePage and he came from Exit. So we're very new to EXP. And one of the main reasons was the international exposure, what kind of, got my attention. I met Nathaly in Montreal, which was great. So I think there's a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities that we can dab into. So yeah, the expectations for the call, again, making connections, the networking. Dubai is one market that I'm hoping to capitalize in. So if there's any sessions happening, anybody has information, I will drop the information in the chat to maybe connect with them off the call, one-on-one.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Who wants to volunteer? Don't be shy. Oh, there goes Nathaly.
Hello, Nathaly. How are you? It's Rita.
Yes, go ahead.
Can I? Yeah. So how are you, Nathaly? I'm seeing you. You're always working, and first of all, I want to thank you because you help us a lot being together, and it's very good to change ideas, and not only listings but sometimes other ideas to do events or other things. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Well, I live in Portugal, in Lisbon, and I'm in EXP also, and I've been working in real estate about I don't know, almost 20 years. Oh my God, time goes fast. And if you need any help in our country, in Portugal, I'll be here to help you if you need something. So let's see both everybody in the group. Let's meet often. This is it's great because we are so far, and I think sometimes we are so alone. Working alone because we don't have our big offices as other brokerage have. So it's much more important to have these calls, and I think our culture also grows as EXP agents. It's good to be together. So thank you.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
joining. Please leave the ones that you already spoke, your contact information in the chat so we can click and follow you.
Hey, Nathaly, if it's okay, I'd like to jump in and say hi really quick because I have a call at 10, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so obviously you know me, you know where I am. I will soon be coming over to the EXP side, so we'll be having a conversation soon.
Nice.
And I have some big updates for this year, like really, really big that I'm super excited to share about. Obviously, I'm from Chicago, but I'm here in Panama. I'm finishing up 2 developments here. I'm on the residential side, but now I'm switching over to commercial as well and getting into that, which is super exciting, and the checks are amazing. So for agents that are looking to 10x your income, development is the place to be. It's amazing. We also have some projects from clients from Dubai that are doing projects in Texas. So I'm really interested to also talk about some of those because some of these projects, they've done creative financing, allowing new developers who they can do projects completely hands-off for $10,000 or less, which is incredible. And so we definitely should be talking more about that on the next call. But that's it in a nutshell. I'm just super excited to meet everybody. Some markets that I'd like to get into, obviously, are Mexico, Portugal, and Dubai. They are on my top list, as well as some of the other islands that are surrounding in Central America. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody, and I really appreciate you putting these calls together. This year is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But please keep your announcements and bring them on. Like, we can probably cover in the next calls. Panama was one of the countries we wanted to cover next. So if you want to volunteer to present, please.
Yes, absolutely, I will. There's plenty of opportunity here. Airbnb here is huge. Vacation rentals are huge. The fishing industry for resort fly fishing and big sports fishing is huge here, and the money for it is really, really big. So I didn't know I like fish so much, but it coincides with money, so I do like it. I love fishing.
It's a good connection that you
But, yeah, it's really interesting for sure. I'm learning so much internationally. I will be back in Chicago probably in the next couple months, but for now, I'm really enjoying everything I'm learning in Panama, and I cannot wait to share it with you all. So
Awesome.
much opportunity.
Thanks for the intro, Nathaly. And we'll see you in Chicago, hopefully, before I leave. But
Yeah, I hope so too.
thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Nathaly.
Oh, awesome. Who wants to go next? Volunteers?
I'll go.
I can go next.
Oh,
Go ahead, Jill. Go ahead.
you sure? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Thank you, Bruno. And thank you, Nathaly and Judy Wolf, who let me know this was happening. So I really appreciate it because just sometimes you don't want to miss this, and I appreciate it. So I am in South Florida. I'm in Boca Raton, and I'm a residential agent. I've been doing luxury, but a lot of exciting changes I've been working on in the last, I would say, last year, 6 months. Everything is going in a really, really great direction because I'm focused, being consistent. I became global certified. There's a program, if you're not familiar, GMA has been a wonderful opportunity. And so I have now direct relationships with agents, in Spain. I'm working on some, these are exclusive off-market opportunities, as well as a new development in Mexico. So we can talk about that another time, but that's exclusive with the GMA. And then Costa Rica area, I'm also working with the developers there. And I love it because my background is I have a bachelor's in hospitality management. So I've done a lot of things, with travel, and I thought, oh, that's an amazing opportunity where I can, cross the international side of it. I love to travel, and so those are, some of the bigger international things, as well as with Dubai. I'm working with their real estate developers, and they're looking for capital raising. So I have connected. That's why this is so great. You meet people for capital because there is so much that's out there. You just have to get to, the right like minds that are aligning with the people who, because you have to be very careful. There's a lot of, fishy or scammy things, but, as far as great connections. So I would love to, meet with, others on this call. And I'm just with these other groups. I'm very consistent on LinkedIn. So anyway, thank you. I'm excited to be part of this and look forward to connecting with other people on here. So thank you so much. And thank you, Nathaly.
Thanks for joining. And hopefully stick around for all the rest of the year.
Great.
Amazing. Anybody else? Bruno, I think he was volunteering.
Yeah. Thank you, Nathaly, for putting this together. And hello, everyone. My name is Bruno. I'm also from Portugal, but I work more so to the north, specifically the region of Douro. You probably heard about port wine. I work a lot residential, but also some niche opportunities for investment, specifically vineyards, farms, that kind of stuff. My idea in joining this group is also because it's an opportunity for networking. I already work a lot with international clients, but not so much the referral part with other colleagues. And it's something that I would like to explore more. And also the opportunity of co-sponsoring. I think this will open a big window for us to grow as a team and explore other opportunities. And I have been with EXP for over 3 years now. And that's basically it. I'm just trying to capitalize also on this opportunity to network, meet other people around the world. And my idea is to grow, for example, for the United States, because a lot of my clients are already from the United States. So why not to create this bridge also with colleagues over there?
That's awesome. Good to see you. We just did a real estate tour in Portugal, and we'll post the video in a bit, but thanks for joining, Bruno.
Thank you.
Who's next? I think Judy is next because she'll put.
Okay, I'll go. Hi, I'm Judy Wolf. You said, where are you from? I am originally from California, and we are living in South Florida now. I'm a little bit south of where Jill lives, and locally I cover Parkland, Pompano Beach, and my third area is Portugal. So we did live in Portugal for 4 years, and I'm very focused on helping, mainly 50-plus-year-old people that are looking for vacation homes or thinking towards retirement homes in Portugal. So I know some of you guys already, Rita and Bruno. We'll talk more. I know referrals are coming, and good to see your faces. But also from this side, the Canadians, we are swamped with the Canadians during our season. When we play golf, we can't get tee times. So I'm happy to help the Canadians with referrals down here in this area. And same thing, Bruno, if you have people you want to send this direction, we're happy to help with that. Did I answer all the questions? So my main country is Portugal, also thinking about expanding to Italy as well. And I think I answered all the questions, right? Yep.
I think so. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Judy. Thanks for all your support, for all the activities that we always put together.
Sure. They're fun.
I think we have Irma, Marisol, and Lucho next. Whoever wants to go.
You can go next.
Awesome.
Okay. So my name is Marisol Leon, and I'm originally from Texas, and my market area is here in Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is the Texas area. I'm mostly on the residential side, and I got introduced to international by Maritza at EXP. She introduced me to Nathaly, and that's how I'm starting international. I'm totally new, but I'm looking forward to learn and help in any way I can other people's and connecting. And my plan is to expand in Mexico and Colombia, and probably all countries that I can possibly. I like to connect with people that are thinking the same, and as well sharing ideas, networking, mastermind, and thank you, Nathaly, for this. This is a great opportunity of learning, and it's a great experience for me.
I'm excited that you're joining. This is just the beginning. Amazing. Lucho, Irma, whoever wants to go first, don't fight.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Qué tal, Nathaly?
Bien, ¿qué
Bueno,
tal?
acá Lucho Chirinos desde Toronto, con ESP casi 2 años y medio, gracias a Dios 2 veces Icon. Tuve el gusto de conocer a Nathaly en el lanzamiento de ESP en Perú. Nos conocimos ahí, ¿te acuerdas? Bueno,
Sí.
nosotros servimos, como dijo Annie es mi esposa, ella también es realtor, ella se encarga de la parte internacional, yo me encargo de la parte local, la parte del Toronto, GTA, pero obviamente también trabajamos juntos en todo esto. Nuestras metas, obviamente, localmente, el seguir ayudando a los inversionistas, especialmente nos encargamos de investors. Oh, sorry, I didn't speak in Spanish. Is that okay?
I'm sure the AI will translate.
So far, so good.
Okay, sorry, I can switch.
I understand, so I didn't think about that.
Exactly. Then I was thinking when I'm talking in Spanish, and there are some people here that are not. Anyway, Luis Chirinos from Toronto, 2 years and a half with ESP, and 2 times Icon. I met Nathaly at the ESP launching in Peru, like in March. Was a very nice event. And I work, as I said, locally here in Toronto, and my wife Annie, who already presented, she's the one in charge of the international locations and opportunities. Our goal is to keep serving investors, especially we try to focus on investors, to keep investing in places where Canadians want to go. So actually, I see there is a few guys here from Portugal. We are going on tour to Spain and to Portugal. We are gonna start looking projects over there in Lisbon and Porto. So yeah, maybe we can get in contact with you guys as well, because there are opportunities that we are gonna see in October over there. Besides Spain, that we are going to see the markets in Malaga, Marbella, which is the Sun Coast. So those are the next markets that we are trying to be focused on. Nice to meet you, and yeah, thanks Nathaly for organizing this type of calls.
Thanks for joining, Lucho.
No one.
Proud of you. And Irma is the last one before we get started. You're muted if you're talking.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. Okay, so I'm originally from Guadalajara, Mexico, but I've lived in the States most of my life. Used to live in Illinois, but now I'm in Dallas, Texas, alongside with Marisol and Maritza. For those of you who know Maritza, she introduced me to Nathaly. And Nathaly, of course, she's in the international side. I'm pretty new to EXP, so I'm still trying to learn the ropes there. I saw this opportunity to join Nathaly's team, and of course, I'm super excited. The opportunity to network and do referrals internationally really has my attention, especially since I already know some real estate. I do know a real estate broker who's a personal friend of mine for over 25 years, and he is in the Puerto Vallarta area, so can't wait to connect with him. And then I also know some contacts in Playa del Carmen, so I'm super excited to, get the ball rolling there. Anyway, did I answer everything?
Yeah, I think so. We
Yeah.
did. Yeah, your goals, will be more because you want to do more of understand the market and referrals.
Mm-hmm. And internationally to Mexico. That's my main focus, just because it's super close to us, like from DFW, like less than 3 hours, I think 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So super excited to come and go. And actually, I would like to make Mexico my second home, like being able to live in both areas, like the best of both worlds. And so I'm going to get there. I just haven't decided whether I want to be in Puerto Vallarta or Playa del Carmen, because I love them both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of them are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for being here, Irma, and I'm excited that you're joining the calls as well. These calls will happen weekly, and I'm going to start sharing my screen again so you guys can see a few things that we have to cover. The call will be about an hour. Usually we have somebody presenting, or we present our different markets, and then we have Q&A after that. Sometimes they finish early, we can do a Q&A within the hour, but sometimes this call runs an hour and a half, so you can prepare for that. You can drop it off the call anytime and watch the recording, but that's kind of the time frame that we're going to be saving for each week. But let me see here. Let me share my screen again. And we were here. Perfect. So my internet might be a little slow, but if you cannot see any part of the screens, let me know. So we did the why of this call, the purpose, who is this for? Feel free to invite other, professionals, not necessarily realtors, not necessarily real estate professionals, in other countries, but they can also be attorneys, they can be accountants, they can be moving companies, they can be immigrations, because we always want to network with them because they always bring the value to the calls to expand from the international purchase. New agents, of course, are welcome. We respect if you're bringing an agent and they're in your downline, just make sure you introduce us and let us know who they are. And if they end up joining, we'll just follow up with you to see, if you want to follow up with them, if they're interested on the call. The idea of this call is to, have this agent attraction piece to it. Non-EXP agents are very welcome. They can join because sometimes they cannot do what we do in the smaller agencies. We did introductions, and this is the QR code for the group. If you are not part of the WhatsApp group yet, you can scan this and join. There are some guidelines on the description, so you can follow those. And then that way we don't have that many messages coming back and forth from agents. It can be a little distracting for people who are going to follow the calls. So scan this, join, or you can send the WhatsApp link. I can send it to you in the group so you can forward that as well. About me, a lot of you guys already know me, but I'm going to go a quick intro. I'm Nathaly, based in Chicago, specialized in Mexico real estate. I've been back and forth in Mexico for the last 4 years. I left during the pandemic and kind of almost didn't want to come back to Chicago. So I decided to do a life design of being in two places, at the same time in a way, but I go back and forth. So I'm in Mexico in the winters, of course, and in Chicago most summer or a few months in the summer. And then the rest of the time I'm traveling between different locations to do market research, to meet agents, to train agents, to connect with everybody else in person, because I think I almost know all of you in person, but 1 or 2 people in the call. So we for sure have connected in person before in a conference, in an event, and I usually include people into this WhatsApp group that you just saw here. So if you're part of the WhatsApp group, you probably have met me. If not, somebody have invited you that know of the group. This is my QR code. You can scan it. That's how you can follow me and us as a group, as Unicorn Group. I'm the founder of Unicorn Properties, and we have a growing team downline right now within our organization. Insta and phone number, whatever you guys need, I'm here. This is our, somebody was asking for the QR code or the link to the YouTube channel. This is the one. If you're curious to know more about international real estate, education, workshops, we interview a lot. We have a podcast as well. We interview a lot of professionals in the field that are doing international. And if you want to be a guest in our podcast, the requirement number 1 is to be into markets, at least into markets, so we can talk about, international real estate. We will also talk about inbound into the US. So sometimes we do outbound into other countries, but we also want to cover inbound because we have investors coming into the US that want to learn more, and they want to come into Canada as well. So we're going to showcase those areas that are getting most of the traffic of people coming in. So they can get to know you if they're watching this video and they're like, you know what, I want to invest in Miami, I want to invest in Orlando, I want to invest in Texas, but I don't know how. So the whole purpose of these calls is to have that connection with people, with buyers, so they can reach out to you directly if you're a realtor, or if you are, we also include here some buyers that they want to learn more about different countries, and then they take the conversation offline with our realtors that present here. So it's super important that if you're involved, that you volunteer to present. We're going to have a calendar coming up, and that's how agents will get to know you if you're, showcasing your country and your inventory. What's important of international real estate right now, to me, is macroeconomics. We just did this class in Dallas, and as one market is going up, the other one is going down, and it keeps going like this. So then if you only focus on one market and it's slow, then probably your wallet will be, shrinking. But if you're focusing on more than one market, at least know about it, then you can send those referrals and keep up, your income in a way that is not fluctuating based on what's happening locally for you. So to me, macroeconomics is super important. I follow the trends, like what's happening where, what's going on in which country, what's the currency like, what's the dollar inflation, valuation, or whatever is happening with the dollar. But it's good and important to follow that for me, mostly because politics are crazy, the world is crazy, and right now we don't know what's going to happen with all these crazy things in the world. Regardless of what party you're in from, we're not here to talk about politics. We're talking about how politics affect the everyday people, especially when you're trying to retire, and sometimes the check might not make it. This is again us. The last few calls that we had, we did 2 countries per month. And the reason that we did 2 sessions per country was to make sure that we cover the theory and the practice. And what I call it, the theory is the demographics, what it's like to buy in that country, X country, what it's like to live there, what's the cost of living, what's the process, what are the risks and the benefits, because there are risks coming with each country and there's also benefits. So our agents and our realtors do present about that in the first week, and the second week we call it the practice week, but it is mostly to have comparables side by side from different regions. So we did, for example, Puerto Rico. We had 2 or 3 agents, and we showcase other agents as well on different areas of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a smaller island, but it's big too. So we have different agents showcasing their inventory locally, and we were able to understand, what's the difference between El Dorado and the other coast on the West Coast within Puerto Rico. So then you can, if you're thinking about Puerto Rico or buying in Puerto Rico, then you will be like, oh, I didn't know this, was this price, and this one is like 30% less. So maybe I could reconsider my, where I would like to move. We also cover Italy, Dubai. We didn't get to India yet, but this calendar will change. I just put this screenshot just so you have an understanding and idea of what's the schedule like. And based on that, we'll put it in the group, and you can follow based on the countries that you're interested. And if you're interested to present, we can also do that. The weekly calls, the whole purpose is to combine the theory and practice, as I mentioned. And the first part, as it is here, if you can take a screenshot if you like. Visually, this is the separation of the call number 1 versus call number 2. If you miss one, it will be recorded, and you can go back to that. The reason that we're doing the theory one is to make sure that, that we cover the basics. And then you can have a point person to go to if you decide to do a referral or you decide to work with them. Let's say Bruno and Rita are in Portugal. They're right here. So then we have those point people that come onto the calls, and we're like, oh, okay, so if I want to think about Portugal, maybe I'll think about Rita or whoever is presenting, or connecting from here on, or having a referral. If Rita is in Lisbon and Bruno is in Porto, then what is the distances between them, because this is quite far. So that's the idea, connecting different countries for the interaction, knowledge, and referrals. That's the whole idea. These are the countries we're in with EXP. If you haven't, if you're not following, we're opening 3 different markets now. Another 3 are going to get added to this, but it's not official yet. So if you're in any of these countries or know an agent in these countries, please invite them to the call, because then we can network with them, either for collaboration, inventory sharing, or also maybe to consider joining your group. These are kind of the inbound and outbound referrals that you can be having and giving. And why is this important? What's the point of this? Well, you can make some money. This is just an example of a referral. If you have done referrals, you know very well, what's going on. Oops. Who's buying what, and where demographics are going. So if, for example, I've always put this example. If my agents in Mexico, sometimes they're like, okay, I'm gonna sell in Mexico, I want to sell in Riviera Maya, but then usually clients come from Canada, US, to buy in the Riviera Maya or in Yucatan, and they're like, but I would like to sell my house first. And many of the agents don't take advantage of that, because they're like, oh, okay, good luck, go to Canada, go to Toronto, go to Chicago, sell your house, call me when you're back. But the agent locally in Mexico can send a referral to the US legally and get paid for that. For example, a 2% of, a $500,000 house, which I think is very little now, that seems like because the prices are going up so fast, then there's a commission to be made. You can send a referral as a local agent, somewhere else or where you are, and get 20, 25%, 30% of that referral. So there's some extra money in your pocket for sending the referral and connecting somebody in literally 3 minutes or less, because I can show you in the next screen our referral process. How do we do referrals and what's our process internally? And that way you can get more familiar on, why maybe you should pay attention. There's money to be made. If you don't pay attention to this, probably somebody that is moving from Chicago to Mexico, you're like, hey, my client is moving there, and you just don't know who to refer it to. So make sure that you pay attention. Otherwise, you can look in the directory. I can show you also how to, whatever any client is moving to or from, there's an opportunity for a double transaction. Either they're selling their house where they are, or renting, or renting in a new place, or buying the new place. There's, 2 transactions to be made. So always pay attention where clients are going to and coming from. This is just an example. You have different splits with EXP as well, but this is a more straightforward way to do it. In other companies, different, real estate agencies or a franchise will have this in a different way, because you have to go through several layers of approval. Sometimes 2 different franchises cannot work with each other, or they don't tend to work with each other, they don't collaborate. And our whole purpose here is collaboration. This is our referral portal, and I always mention this because sometimes some of the agents don't utilize it as much as we do. And it's so simple to send a referral. It literally takes 3 minutes, and I always literally have time myself is 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes you can make $3,000. So literally it costs you nothing but a little time to send a referral. In this client form, you send the client information to the receiving agent by just filling this out. You ask your referral percentage, how long is your term, how long is your contract and the terms, and what is the purpose of this referral. Then this is going to go to the record onto your lead on your referrals, and it's going to be a line item that you can go back to, follow up with, and then when they close, whatever you send the referral to, then they direct deposit that commission that we just saw here, this commission, into your bank account locally, wherever you are. So the best part of this is that you don't have to be chasing people for money. And I have a few stories of why we started doing these calls, is because when I was sending referrals in Mexico outside of a system, I didn't get paid that commission. And sometimes people take it serious in the US or Canada, but they don't take contracts too serious in other countries. And they literally will be like, people disappear. So it has happened to me. Yeah, I don't know if it has happened to you, but this is super helpful because you're tracking all your referrals going out and coming in to you. You can also receive referrals, but the monitoring of this helps you kind of like understand what the other agent decide in the sale, if they close it or not, or if something happened with the client, they decide not to buy, or maybe they change their mind and they want a different city. Like Irma was saying, I don't know if Playa or Puerto Vallarta. Sometimes your client will tell you the same thing. I don't know if the East Coast or the West Coast in Mexico, but I'm thinking about Mexico. So then maybe Irma will send a referral to two agents, one in Playa del Carmen and one in Puerto Vallarta, so they can start showing the client some of the inventory or options. That way they don't go to Playa and then they don't tell Irma and then they go to Puerto Vallarta. They close a property in Puerto Vallarta, but not within the system, not with you. So the idea is for you to send those referrals. If your client is thinking about 2 cities, just send 2 referrals. There's no limit of how many referrals you can send. You can send unlimited ones. And you can track them too. This is the wheel of kind of knowledge, what I call it. And these are the things we're going to be covering in the calls coming up, because real estate purchases is the easy part internationally. I love this house. It's 1/3 of the price from where I live. How do I buy it? Then we are talking about financing with clients. Sometimes we might not know. You might, at the beginning, might not know everything if you're just sending the referral, but you can work with as a partner with the agents that are in this call and be like, hey, for Portugal, maybe with financing, Rita can help me, or she can refer me somebody, so the client can feel safe through the process of buying, because how you're going to get your money is super important. What are the legal implications, once you buy your property? If you can be a full owner, or like in Asia, they have land leasing. So sometimes the land or house that you buy might never be yours fully, because it's in a trust, and there is land leasing, and the land is never yours. So those little things you need to know about what country your client is going in, or understanding just a little bit so you can poke their interest. We talk about accounting, where do you pay your taxes? Like, do you pay them in the US or do you pay them in Mexico if you make the money there? Do you pay them in Dubai or do you pay them, in Toronto? So it depends on your country where you're from too, that this will be varying. And we're not tax accountant experts here, but we do invite a tax expert to talk about that by country. This will vary by country, and it will vary by where the client is from. So it's super important to keep in mind, because that will affect rental income coming in, especially if it's an investment property. And we talk about architecture and construction, because a lot of people in Mexico buy land. And when they buy land, they want to see what they can do with that after. So sometimes they're like, I don't want to buy land because it sounds like a headache trying to build something from scratch. We have teams that do that, day in and day out. So clients don't have to worry about it. We can share with you the process of what this is like. If you have a client, we can hold their hand together. Also for immigrations, do I have to be there's a myth that always comes up when we talk about Mexico real estate. And that's, hey, do I need to be a citizen of Mexico to buy in Mexico? And that's not true. Anybody can buy in Mexico. There's just some legalities that they need to follow to make sure that they can legally own this. So there's a process to be followed, and you don't have to be a citizen or resident to buy in Mexico, for example. And then there are many similar situations in Portugal, Spain, Dominican Republic. Anybody can buy. So we need to just make sure that they know that it's possible, because sometimes they have the myth that it's not. Property management as well. So we talk about these because it's pretty important, because once you have a home abroad, what happens with it? Who's going to open it? If it's like a tropical area or the rainforest, like Dominican Republic, like the coast of Mexico, then you need somebody to air the place out all the time. So what is the cost of that? What are the HOAs? What's the maintenance like? What's the property management like if you have an Airbnb? Things like that. We talk about that, and we have some suggestions on who to work with for certain areas. Also, the relocation services, if any clients are interested, they're going to ask you, so how do I bring my stuff? What can I bring? Can I bring my car? And all those things, we have a relocation partner that I can introduce you guys that works out of Costa Rica, and he helps you with the consultation with the client. So you don't have to guess anything, and you don't have to say anything that you don't know, or mislead the client into saying, oh yeah, of course you can bring your car. And then they're at the border and they're like, no, you cannot bring your car. You need a permit. So these little things are very important, that we work with people that know their industry, but it's super important for them to know all these or some part of this before they buy real estate in that city, in that country, because they will ask these questions to you. And if you don't know, you can always work with a partner that will help you. Partner meaning like another realtor, real estate agent, to help you with the rest of the pieces that you don't have. This is what we cover in our podcasts. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see different countries. We're talking about different countries' buying process. And here, what we're going to cover is the same in part 1 of the calls. Again, this is the QR code to the YouTube channel that you can go and find. If you organize or see the playlist, you'll see the playlist for the podcast on the bottom, and then also for the latest tour that we had. This is some of the questions that we go over when we do the interview, especially from law to closing costs to bank, rules, etc. This is a guide that we follow for those gathering that knowledge and research. And just so sometimes international real estate might seem like overwhelming, and it's too much, but 80% of transaction is the same. It's very similar, because you have the buyer, the seller, and the process. The offer letter or carta de promesa, you have the earnest money, then you have the down payment, and then you have the terms that are going to come after that. And you have either seller's financing or you're going to have a loan. And that's pretty much the structure for almost every single transaction anywhere around the world. But each country will have their nuance on their specific laws locally, and some different steps that you might need to follow specifically to that. but it's not that difficult. So you can refer anybody anywhere, just knowing a little bit. So don't get overwhelmed that this is too big or it's too complicated. The idea is for you to get started and then understand just a little bit of the process and then connect with the person locally, your real estate partner there, to help you with the rest. Of course, with the showings, because you're not going to go to that other country to do the showings unless you want to have time, of course. So what I tell everybody is like, you don't need to know everything to get started. You just need to know just a little bit. And then from there, refer the rest. So just not understand the market and the product, which is what we're going to be covering. Call number 1 is market. Call number 2 is product, part 1 and part 2 for each country. And once you hear that for 1 hour each, then you have enough information to go and share with other clients and, even with other agents to be like, hey, we're covering this market and this is how we do it. And of course, you don't have to know everything else, but you're going to rely on your local partner to help you with that discovery call. So yeah, just know enough. These calls will be just to poke the tip of the iceberg, and then you can go as deep as you want with each country. But the world's a big place, so pick your countries that are your favorites, And with that, I have a list of risks that can happen. You can take a screenshot or read this later, but there's a lot of risks that can happen if you don't help, if you don't transition a client and put them in good hands in the other side. Many horror stories, especially for the market that we cover in Mexico, especially when people don't go with reliable, trusted builders, and then they end up losing money down payments or they fall into a fraud situation. So very important for you to keep an eye on that. Don't trust anybody just out of the street. Just work with your network, and then you can of course go outside of that, but always make sure that you check before sending a referral abroad. Some common mistakes that I've seen so far myself, and I've seen some agents do this, is selling inventory they don't fully understand or they haven't verified themselves. So it's hard for a client. I mean, it will be hard for a client to lose money, but it will be even harder for you to be that person that introduced into a development that was not reliable, especially when it's pre-construction. So there's a lot of cases when developers, and I need to mention this on the record, developers go straight to the agents that are abroad, let's say US and Canada, and now we're going to put Mexico as an example because it happens every day, that they reach out to the agent directly and they offer inventory that the agent in the other country might not understand what they're, getting. So some developers offer, we'll give you 10, 14% commission, and the agents in the other side are like, oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll promote it to my clients. But what maybe you might not understand in the country itself, in Mexico, there's 1,000 developments. We're overflowing of listings, similar to, than Dubai. But in Mexico, you have to be very mindful who you work with, because sometimes the higher the commission, the more risks, you're putting your client through. And that's the commission for the agent. We are seeing in Mexico, at least for our market, anywhere from 2 to 10% being an average of commission that we get, that we can share with you as a referral. But anything above that, we always investigate why the push. They're pushing you to sell it because they're giving you more commission, but they're giving you commission probably of something that might not be trusted because they just want to get rid of it. So be mindful of that. Having this is a red flag, but of course we can check it for you, and you can check with your local partners to see who is that development, or why is the commission so high. They just want you to push it. And if you have to fully understand what are you promoting. Many agents just copy and paste an ad for Tulum, which is the market that we see the most right now, and they just reshare something they don't know because somebody else posted it. So we're very mindful of what we post online, that we have to verify so nobody spreads or has misinformation into the world, because clients can, click on your post, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and they'll be like, hey, I want to buy this. And if you don't know much about it, or the development is not trusted, or, they have no good reputation, then your reputation will be in the line with theirs. So don't repost unless you know. Always check for documentation, and if the listing is in EXP already, it's because it has been vetted by EXP legal department. But if it's not in EXP, be mindful that might be a little bit more risky, or they don't have enough papers to go into the EXP platform, because EXP is very rigorous on what goes up and what doesn't go up. They have declined many of the developments that they don't have enough documentation, that the land that they have or they're building on is theirs. So that's kind of just for our market in North America, Canada, US, and Mexico. Also, in Dubai is more realistic. I think it's safer to invest there. But sometimes, I don't know if this happens, but I think it happens everywhere, that if you're talking to a salesperson, they're going to exaggerate the return on investment. They're going to exaggerate the depreciation or the occupancy rates or rental amount per night. They'll be like, oh yeah, this rents for $300 a night. And okay, but that's what's the occupancy rate for that? Maybe they're renting it at 300, but they only rent one night per year. But if they rent, like the supply and demand curve, if they rent it for less, it rents more often. So these things, if it comes from the developer, I will always triple check with a local realtor and with a local person there. And also, if they have Airbnb listings, I always check their Airbnb and how open is their calendar. If the calendar has bookings everywhere, it's because it's moving. But if the calendar is fully available, there's no much demand for that rental, or maybe the season is not there. So those things are the ones I like to mention, and we'll cover these hopefully more in detail in each country specific, because everybody has their anecdotes and their stories about what happens in their countries. So yeah, be mindful of these. You can read over these, some of the risks and some of the mistakes I've seen happening, to even within our network, because people don't verify. This is the situation I was telling you about. Some developers go straight to the agent abroad because they know they don't know, but they don't want to go through the local agent so they can share with this agent, because they think, this agent will say no to my listing because he or she can read the reviews and the complaints, because she locally is there and she can have the pulse of the market. This agent that is abroad, they don't get the information that the local agent gets. Hence, they don't know much unless they travel to the location often enough, maybe at least quarterly. Every 3 months, check your inventory, check your location if you are the one listing it as a agent internationally, but always trust the local agent because they see it firsthand. There's so many WhatsApp groups I can tell you at least in Mexico, that there's like underground WhatsApps and then everybody knows everything, but only if you're in that group, you know what's happening with certain developers that are, defaulting, being late, or they're not delivering. So the local agents hear that, they're in the everyday. So that's why, even if I know the market very well in Mexico, I always check with our local agents, hey, so what's the status of this development right now? Because over time, that will change as well. But yeah, what can go wrong when it comes to I got my client into that property sale or project, what happens after? There are some markets that are really strong. Dominican Republic is very strong too. Dubai is very strong. Spain and Portugal are also very safer than Mexico on the delivery side, because they have more regulation on the permit side of things, and they build slower. So I think that kind of gives them that slightly benefit over South America and Latin America, because in Latin America, they're like, oh yeah, everything's for sale. We just build whatever and then sell it. So the main risk is that your client loses money because they weren't advised correctly, or the project is delayed or never completed. We saw a lot of constructions that are half finished in Tulum and they haven't been finished because they ran out of money and they sold everything, and the developer sometimes can run away with the money and they just have an empty building that you can move into, of course, and your client will be like, what happened? I bought a condo, not like a, this just empty place. So don't risk your license, don't risk your reputation. Always work with the local agent hand in hand, because that's the best way you can get the first-hand knowledge on what's happening there, physically there, and of course, work with the country leader or managing broker of the country to give you any updates if you have any questions. There's a lot of legal disputes in other countries that don't get anywhere. And I don't know we talk about where you guys are from, but if you're from Latin America, lawsuits are not that common there, because it's like you cross your fingers and hope for the best. You're like, okay, I want to, sue this development. Good luck finding them. The dispute or the lawsuit will take 10 years and you might not get your money back. So who has 10 years? I don't know. I don't. While in the US and Canada is different. Maybe the US, if you have a lawsuit, it gets resolved quickly because, we're in the country of lawsuits. But in other countries, it's not like that. So don't expect your, people or developments or professionals to retribute to you or your client if something goes wrong. You better go with the safer options instead of with the mass of many options that we have that we just don't know enough about. So that's kind of what the risks we're seeing right now, especially with Tulum, unfortunately. And I have many things that I can share with you about that market and how it's inflating, deflating. And we still have some inventory that is still safe and is finished. And they have proven record of being having rental income. So if anybody wants to buy there, they can still buy at a discount, but they have to be super mindful with pre-construction. That's for our market specifically. And the other thing that I want to mention before we step out is that work with the agent that lives in the city. I mean, this is kind of obvious to say, but sometimes I have found myself banging my head against the wall because this is not following the process. I mean, we're not following the basic common sense rules. And to me, it's like if you're if you're looking for an agent remotely, or wherever you are, let's say in this case, Puerto Vallarta, and I have a real story about that. I'm looking for an agent in Puerto Vallarta. I want to I would like to meet them first. I'm traveling there, or I'm going to send a client. So what has happened in the past that I've seen is that US agent looks in the directory for an agent in Puerto Vallarta. I did that too. And then I find an agent. This is before, at the beginning I joined EXP, I didn't know Emilia back then. I work with Emilia now. So I find an agent and the agent says, yeah, I'm in Puerto Vallarta. And I'm like, okay, I'm flying there for Thanksgiving in November. So I get there and then the agent is like, oh, I had to travel last minute. I won't be there, but my assistant will be there. And I was like, okay. So the agent wasn't there and I met with the assistant and we did the showings, we did some of the networking, understanding the market locally. But then I asked the assistant, hey, are you part of the network? Are you part of EXP? And he said no, or not yet. And I'm working with him and, talking about that. And then I was like, so where is this other agent that was supposed to be here? Is he here often? I mean, does he travel a lot? Because when you're working with an agent locally, you want to make sure they're there physically, at least, in the location, so they can be a showing agent. If the agent that says many, many, many times, like 1,000 times, it has happened to me that the agent said that they're in one place, but they're in Mexico City. They live in Mexico City, and they say they're in Puerto Vallarta, or they say they're in Riviera Maya. So when you send your client to that agent, guess what? Either the agent has to fly and take care of the client, which it can happen. Yes, that's good. But they're not physically there. They don't know what's going on there every single day. So I'm always mindful that when I send a referral even within EXP, because some agents put a location that they sell and a different location where they're from, where they live. So I always triple check. I have to make, 3-4 calls like, hey, are you really in Puerto Vallarta? Are you physically in this location? Because I'm sending my client, I want to send it to you. I don't want you to outsource my client to another agent yet, and that might or might not be in the network. Because if you do that and the agent closes with them, I mean, that can also happen that they close off the system and I don't get paid my referral. So that this, bouncing around of clients is very not professional in my opinion. So when I talk to an agent, I'm like, hey, do you live there in this location next to this city? What's the closest church that you're in? Like, because I need to verify you're there before I send you the referral. And that has, that's something to keep in mind, just so your client doesn't feel bounced around between 3 different people. So you're sending you're the representing agent sending the referral to that receiving agent. You want to make sure the receiving agent is the showing agent, or at least can do the discovery call and then make sure that somebody that he sends them to show the location is within the network. I mentioned this many times because there's several agents that are in the system that are not physically there. So full transparency, I'm in Mexico 6 months a year, but our team is there full time. Like they live in the different locations we're covering. So I'm always have the pulse on the inventory, what's happening, what's going on, what's going right, what's going wrong. And then to make sure that I'm always connected, but I always do the discovery calls and I'm transparent. I'm like, if I'm there from November to April. always, but I'm not there in the summer. So then my agents will take care of them in the summer, but they're in the system too. So sometimes what I do, I just send the referral directly to the local agent physically there, so the commission doesn't get diluted. So yeah, that's kind of like the basics of this. And the girls that were in Dallas last week heard this full presentation. But this is just the beginning and the expectations I want to set for the upcoming calls, and also the type of content I want to share with you. And I like to distribute with other professionals that are in the same mindset, that we want to do things right for the client, that we don't want to just play around with international referrals, that we work with local agents that know their market very well and know their inventory, because it's very dangerous when, I mean, it's not super dangerous, but people can lose money. It's not safe to send to a random person a referral unless you know them, you talk to them, you have a relationship with them, and then you have that one-on-one. This is a Facebook group we created for the community. We will have some of the calls posted here as well. This is for the buyers mostly, in case they're curious to transition to a different country. We're gonna have some calls for investors as well, but this is just a community call. And the last thing I want to mention, that some of you guys were in the tour. We did one tour, real estate tour in Portugal in June before 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗏. And I'm gonna invite you guys to be part of that if you would like. And we have the next one in December 11 in Riviera Maya. So you can physically fly there and have the tour of like the area, so you know what areas, what neighborhoods, what gated communities, what golf communities there are, what areas are good for families, what areas are good for the people who just want to walk to the beach, which areas are the opportunity zones that are under $100,000 homes. So then we have from the luxury to the more affordable for people who just want to retire, and the real estate tours help you understand that, so this is here, that's the price, that's why the price. Oh, this one is over here. I see the difference in location, price, quality, size. So physically seeing it is the best way to recommend it. These tours will be happening, and we're aiming at least 3 to 4 times a year in different parts of the world. We want to have a calendar coming up, and I'm going to share with you more. But if you go to this QR code, I think will take you to the latest tour. And I can also paste this in the chat, and we'll also paste it in the description once we post this video. So you can watch, what countries we're going to cover next, what we covered before, and how you can be part of it. So this is the tour for the dates. I think this goes to the realestatetours.org website, and we'll be posting there the updates with this one. We just launched the dates. First, it's going to be Riviera Maya, then it's going to be Mérida. I will see if we can do one for Puerto Vallarta and the West Coast, because a lot of people are asking for it. We're going to do usually 4 days long, about 12-hour days, but we also have fun in the middle, so it's not all work. And with that, I'll stop sharing, because I think that's all I have. Just the QR code for YouTube. Of course, you guys have it. I'll share the videos right now and stop sharing. I'll stop recording too, so we can have Q&A, and also so this doesn't get super long.